In this video, we discuss art, fear, and self-value, and how seeing these things rightly can help you progress in art a lot faster. This video is brought to you by CharacterArtSchool.com. If you want to learn to draw awesome characters and professional level characters quickly and efficiently, take a look, check it out. As artists, I'm sure we all understand the concept of art and fear in terms of how we relate to the fearfulness of creating art, right? And achieving our vision or failing to achieve our vision, and also the fearfulness of what others might say about our work, right? And these concepts have for a very long time been linked together in a way, in society, I would say, to some extent. But I think that if we have a great view of them, a right view of these three concepts, that we can progress a lot faster in our art learning and really rapidly improve the pace at which we gain skills and gain knowledge in art. And so what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at art and fear and self-value, and then we're also going to take a look at failure, right? And hopefully we can just talk about it, let it swirl around in our heads a little bit, and really get a good and a stronger, better understanding of these three things, right? So first, let's just take a look at art and what art really is, right? When you're creating an artwork, and of course, I am a 2D artist, digital traditional, drawing characters and painting environments and things like that, right? And, it doesn't matter whether you're doing pottery or sewing, whatever the case may be, when you're producing art, you are creating something outside of yourself. It's separate from you. Yes, you created it, but it itself is a separate thing from you, right? And so that artwork will always be separate from you. It's never linked to you other than you being the creator of it. And it will always be a mark, in a sense, of your progress in that skill at a point in time, right? So your artwork will always be kind of fundamentally a mark of your progress at a particular point in time, right? So you should never see it as a reflection of you as a person, okay? Now, don't get me wrong. I understand why we see it as a reflection of us as people. It's because of the way other people react to us and how we react to other people when we see their artwork. We might say, when we see a beautiful piece, we might say, what an amazing artist you are. What an amazing artist you are. And the problem there is we should be saying, what an amazing artwork you have created, right? But we always tend to link it to the personhood of the individual, right? We don't see it as something in itself, right? And so we need to understand art is a byproduct, right, of our creative ability. And it is a mark of progress at a point in time. So we should really off the bat start seeing our artwork rightly, not having it so closely tied to our hearts, right? Because that's going to lead us into a self-value problem, all right? And the self-value problem is that if people rate our artwork poorly, right, or if we do not manage to achieve our vision in our artwork, we feel bad in ourselves, right? I'm sure you've said things to yourself like, I'm never going to be able to do this. I suck. I'm just terrible at this. Maybe I should quit, right? We link it to ourselves, right? We're linking our art to our self-value. And so talking about self-value, we have to understand that, all of humanity, right, is extremely valuable, and we all share the same inherent value. Okay, so understand that. All humans share the same inherent value. Yes, we all have differences, but we also all have virtues that are unique to us as individuals, right? So we've all got strengths as individuals, and we all have abilities that are unique to us, and giftings, if you will, that are unique to us. And so, but our baseline value is the same, okay? So we all have the same value. And so what I'm trying to say, or what I'm trying to put towards you here, is to understand that your self-value and the value of your artwork shouldn't be linked at all. If we remember again what artwork is a mark of progress of your skill set at a point in time, right? How is that in any way related to your entire personhood, which we tend to do, right? And your entire personhood is deep and complex, right? You have many likes and many dislikes, many skills, many strengths and many weaknesses. We all have different contexts that we were raised up in or that we live in, right? And we have different cultural frameworks. Art is simply a thin slice of the entire pie of your life. And on that note, let me just say that you never want to fully kind of tunnel vision on art or tunnel vision on any one thing, to be honest with you, right? View everything in as a balanced way as possible. But nevertheless, hopefully we can see that, our self-value shouldn't in any remote way be linked to our art. And when we do this, we can more objectively look at our art and say, okay, I see my progress level of my skill at a point in time. And the great thing with art is that the more that you engage in art, it's always level up. Art is always a level up. You never level down. Don't get me wrong, there's times you're going to feel you've leveled down because of the aforementioned, linking of your artwork and self-value, but you never really level down. You constantly level up. That's not to say you're not going to fail at meeting a vision at some point in time, but you will always tend to level up. And so now let's talk about fear, and fear is going to link into failure. All right. Most of the time when we experience art fear, it's fear of not reaching our vision. It's fear of not being able to think of an idea, or it's fear of what others may say, negative things they may say, right, about our work. And this fear can be debilitating. It can cause people to stop working, right, to stop learning, to stop progressing. It's terrible, right? This fear is terrible. And so our fear is a fear of failure, which means if we want to remedy this, right, we need to correctly understand failure. Now, don't get me wrong, I think it's very common for people to fear failure. But I would like to think that the wisest among us understand and know, and I'm sure you're going to relate to what I'm about to say, that failure is the only way to learn, right? Failure is the only way to learn. Now, there's a great saying I'd heard recently. I'm probably going to say it wrong, but the saying was, a master has failed more times than an amateur has even tried. Just think about that. Just think about the depth of that, right? A master has failed more times than an amateur has even tried. The way I like to see it is that all of your successes are a product of your failures, right? All of your successes are a product of your failures. So hear me when I say that failing is the best thing in the world because it helps you learn, right? Failing helps you learn. Failing is in fact a catalyst for your learning, and without failure, you wouldn't really learn very quickly and you may not learn at all. So when you start looking at failure rightly, it really starts to address your art fears, right? Because you're seeing every failure to achieve your vision, or every harsh criticism that you may receive, talking about where people believe you have failed in meeting a goal, like as an opportunity to learn and an opportunity to grow. So when you understand that failure is good, when you understand the nature of your art being a separate thing from you, and when you understand your self-value being a separate thing from your art, you're now able to more objectively seek out harsh critique because you're not afraid of the harsh critique, right? You've got no fear because you're not worried about failing, because you understand, right? Hopefully you're tracking with me here, that your artwork is going to be really hugely benefited by the input, the constructive, right? Constructive and good input of others, whether it's harsh critique or not, that you are able to look at it objectively and move forward and grow, right? Because you are fearless. And we've all heard that kind of saying where people are like, nothing's more dangerous than a person without fear, right? Well, obviously, because they're not fearful, they're not afraid to take risks, they're not afraid to make mistakes, they're not afraid to try new things, right? And so understanding that failure is a good thing and pursuing failure in a way that you are striving to meet a goal with the realistic understanding that you may fail, but knowing that you can learn from that failure, there's no greater way to progress quickly in art, right? There is no greater way to progress quickly in art. And so then you're motivated to do more work because you want to fail faster, okay? And those people who want to fail faster, learn faster. Because eventually you're going to figure out, I see the right way to do this. I understand now the right way to do this because I tried 50 different other ways and I finally hit the way that worked. And boom, you've solved that problem. On to the next one, right? Whereas people that are hindered by their fears and their fears of failure, they stop, they quit, they procrastinate. They want to play a few games of League, they want to play some Overwatch, whatever the case may be, right? They procrastinate, they watch TV. Maybe they quit art altogether. And people who quit art aren't artists, because artists are people who produce artwork. And if you call yourself an artist and you're not producing, You're not an artist. You're someone in a band who doesn't want to play any instruments. You can't be in the band, man. We need people who play instruments in this band. So that is the discussion point I have for you guys today. Let's talk about it more in the comments. Leave your comments, leave your questions, leave your queries. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, like if you want to, dislike if you hated it. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. Cheers.